Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really innovative proposal from India called Ecopoly. And it's fascinating because it's trying to tackle two massive and what seem like totally separate challenges the young people are facing: how to get a good job and how to fight climate change. And it's doing it at the exact same time.
I mean, think about it. If you're a student getting close to graduation, you're constantly asking yourself this, right? Do I focus on building those practical job skills to land a career, or do I put my energy into climate action? It almost always feels like you have to pick one. But what if the answer wasn't either or? What if it was both?
Okay, so let's get right into it. What is the core problem that Ecopoly is actually trying to solve? Well, the proposal identifies what it calls India's twin challenge.
So on one hand, you've got this skills gap. Students are graduating with their degrees, sure, but they often don't have the practical stuff. You know, the communication skills, the teamwork, the real-world experience that employers are really looking for. And then on the other hand, you have this huge climate gap. India has some really ambitious sustainability goals, and to meet them, it needs a whole new generation of professionals who aren't just kind of aware of climate issues, but are actually trained to tackle them.
So you've got this two-sided challenge, and the proposal introduces a pretty unique solution. And this is key. It's not some add-on program or an after-school club. It's designed to be woven right into the fabric of the college experience.
So what is Ecopoly exactly? Well, at its heart, it's a program that lives and breathes right there on the college campus. It directly mashes together professional skills training with very practical, hands-on sustainability projects. And the whole thing is capped off with a real-deal internship in carbon auditing.
And I love this quote from the proposal because it just perfectly captures the whole vision. The goal here isn't just to teach students about climate change in a classroom. No, it's about empowering them to turn their own campuses into these living laboratories for leadership and for real local climate action.
Okay, that all sounds great, right? But how does it actually work in practice? Well, the program is basically built on two core pillars.
Pillar number one is called Skills for Success. This is all about closing that employability gap we were just talking about. It covers the fundamentals, things like time management, teamwork, leadership, and it also gets into crucial communication skills like public speaking and professional business English. But notice that last one, specialized training in carbon accounting. That's a very specific and very in-demand skill right now.
Now here's where it gets really clever. They take all that skill building from the first pillar and they pair it with the second one, eco-care. This is where theory gets thrown out the window, and it's all about practice. Students aren't just reading about sustainability, they're actually leading projects in waste management, water conservation, and even trying to launch their own green enterprise ideas right there on campus.
So this all comes together in what they call the student journey. It's a really clear 6-step process. A student gets onboarded online, they complete those skill modules, and then they immediately start applying what they've learned through those eco-care projects. From there, they get specialized training in carbon accounting before heading out for a real-world internship to measure the carbon footprint of a local business or organization. It all wraps up with a final presentation to get their certification.
So this whole journey is obviously designed to create some very real, tangible outcomes. But beyond just the learning, who really benefits when a program like this gets up and running?
Well, the cool part is that it's designed to create this positive feedback loop where it's not just the students who win. The benefits actually spread out to the colleges themselves, the local community, and even to industry partners.
For the students, the takeaways are incredibly concrete. They don't just get some certificate, they get a joint certification in both skills and carbon accounting. They walk away with actual internship experience, a portfolio of projects they can show to an employer, and this really cool title that recognizes their leadership, Campus Eco Ambassador.
And for the colleges, the value is just as clear. They get to position themselves as leaders in sustainable education, which is a huge boost for their brand. Plus, the program's focus on skills and hands-on learning lines up perfectly with India's new national education policy. It's a natural fit.
So, all of this really leads us to a much bigger question. Is this just a neat little niche program, or could it actually be a blueprint for a new way of thinking about higher education on a much larger scale?
And what makes this model so potentially powerful might just be this number, 295 rupees. That's the total annual fee per student. To put that in perspective, that is less than $4 for the entire year's program. This incredibly low cost is the key to making it accessible to a massive number of schools and students. And you know, this isn't happening in a vacuum.
The model is designed to plug directly into India's national vision. It supports the country's long-term goal of carbon neutrality. It answers the call of the national education policy for more skill-based learning. And maybe most importantly, it empowers students to be the engine of that change at the grassroots level.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought. In a world where education really needs to be more practical, more affordable, and more connected to solving real-world problems than ever before, is a model like Ecopoly, one that integrates skills, action, and purpose at a massive scale, is that the future?